The event information step of the race wizard will allow you to go into further detail about the events you created in the basic info step. This section will teach you how to set up an event's start and end times, give a detailed description of each event, specify the distances of your events, and create free events if necessary. If you have more than one event created for your race, then the settings in this section can be modified across several events at the same time if necessary, or by individual event. To change the settings across multiple events simultaneously, you can click on Modify Multiple Events, and the Edit Multiple Events window will pop up for you. Within this window, you can use the checkboxes to select only the events that you want to apply similar settings to, or you can click the Select All button to check off all of the events. By default, all of the fields are disabled, and they will appear as slightly faded. When you click on a field, you will notice that it no longer remains faded. Therefore, that field is enabled, and any change made to that field will apply to all events selected above. If you decide that you do not want to change a field anymore, then simply hit the Escape key while on that field, and it will become faded out once more. Please note that faded fields will not be altered across all events. Any information existing in those faded fields will remain unchanged. In this Edit Multiple Events pop-up window, the fields can be edited in the same manner as they would be for individual events. We will go into a more detailed explanation of all of these fields in a moment. When you are finished editing the necessary fields, and all of the fields that you want left unchanged are set as faded, then click on the button for Copy to Events. Or you can cancel if you do not wish to make these changes. Please remember that if you do click Copy to Events, you will still need to save the changes at the bottom of the page in order for those changes to go into effect. Individual events can be edited underneath their specific events section. Events can be found manually by scrolling through the page, or you can use the Select an Event guide in the lower right-hand corner. By clicking on an event in the Select an Event guide, you will be brought directly to that event's editable details. The start date and time for each event will have already been filled in with the information from the basic info step. However, you can edit this information here in the event section, and the changes made here will be reflected in the basic info step, and vice versa. You are also given the option to set an end date and time. This allows you to designate when an event will come to a close, if you have a need for this. As with the start date and time, these changes will be reflected in the basic info step as well, and vice versa. In the text field for the distance section, specify the numerical distance of your race. Then, using the drop-down menu, indicate whether this is in miles, kilometers, yards, or meters. For anyone whose race is in parsecs, you can always Google parsec conversion in order to figure out the distance in miles. If the event you are creating is a free event, and you would like to make it free to register for, then check off the box to indicate it as such. Please note that this will prohibit you from setting up registration fees for this event. The additional event information text box is optional. You can use this to provide a description of the event and/or give any details that are specific to that event. There are also several ways to further customize the way your events look on your race page by going to the dashboard, selecting Race, Registration, and then Event Display Options. Here you can make your events go from looking like this to this. For more information on this topic, simply go to the Help button at the top of the Event Display Options page. The age calculation base date is optional. For many races, you will not need to set this date. If you leave this field untouched, then the age for your registrants is going to be calculated based on the start date of the event. So your participants' ages will be shown as their age on race day. Again, this is how most races will calculate the age, so if that is the same for your race, you can leave this field as is. However, if you want the age to be calculated off of a different date, then you can enter that date in here. For this tutorial, we will set the field back to its default position by clicking on the X, because most races will not use this field. Once again, this is the event information step. This step is for customizing the information that pertains to the events that you have already set up in the basic info step. If you would like to add more events, then you will need to return to the basic info step of the race wizard, which you can get to by clicking here. It is important to note that if you made any changes on this page and you wish to keep them, then do not click on this link until after saving this step. On the topic of saving, when you are finished making changes to the events section, be sure to scroll down to the bottom of the page and click on Save and Continue. This will bring you to the next step of the wizard, and from here you can jump around to any of the steps in the wizard that you would like. For more information on any of the other steps in the wizard, simply click on that step, and click on the Help button that is found on that step's page. You can also click on the link to the race dashboard in order to find even more features to customize your race. Features can be easily found by using the menu search, and to learn more about any feature on the dashboard, simply click on the Help button which is found on that features page.